Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome to this week's card. Today's card is a little more sophisticated. I use a lot of die cutting. I'm using a set of dies made by Top Dog Dies. The camera die that I used is a steel rule die, and you can see it here. It's made of wood. It's got several layers of wood. I'm going to show you. One side looks just like your typical die. You can see the layers right there. It's very, very sturdy, and it cuts through all different kinds of materials. And their dies come with what they call finishers, which are embellishments, and they just kind of help you finish off the project with some little details. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is die cut the camera, two of them actually, and the lens, one out of gray, one out of black. And I'm going to start working on the front of my camera first. I have a penny black stamp called Dots in Space. And I'm going to use my Stamp-O-Majig so that I can get my line of dots lined up just right. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink it up with some Versamark and use my Stamp-O-Majig. Now I'm adhering it to this piece of scratch paper so that it won't move. So I'm going to stamp that down. And I'm going to apply some black sparkle embossing powder, which I've been using a lot of. And I'm going to heat it to set it. Now, this die is a little bit larger than your standard card size, so I'm going to have to do this twice. But since I've got my Stamp-O-Majig, it's no big deal. I just put my sheet back on there and line up my dots and stamp it again with Versamark, and then sprinkle it with some more embossing powder and then heat it to set it. Now, some of the glitter from this embossing powder kind of sticks to the paper, but I just use a stipple brush and brush it all off, and it comes out nice and clean. You can see here. It's got a really nice iridescent sparkle to it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lens, I'm going to mark a dot on each side so I make it an even line across, and I'll use my scoreboard, my Martha Stewart mini scoreboard, to score a little line there so that I can lift it up off the card. Alright, I've got a white gel pen. I'm just going to make dots all around. So there's that area above where there's kind of not a line, so I want to make sure I get a nice clean circle. So I measured the width between the dots that I had already made, and then with my pencil I just marked that same width all across the top, and then I went over those lines with my gel pen. Alright, the next step is working on the flash. What I decided to do was take C1 Copic marker, and I'm just going to start in the middle, and I'm going to flick it outward toward the edge. I'm just going to go all the way around in a circle, and it's going to fade quite a bit, but I just want a little subtle color there. This is white picket fence distress marker, and it'll give you just a very, very faint white line. And then I took a brighter white. This is my white gel pen, and did the same thing. And now I'm going to heat this because my gel pen takes a little while to dry. And my goal here is to just get all different shades of white and gray. Now this is a Versa marker, which is like Versamark ink. And now I'm going to apply some, it's called Mystic Fire. It's like iridescent embossing powder. And I'm going to heat it. And when I do that, the Versa marker lines will go a little bit darker, and you'll be able to see the glitter on them. So it's just kind of a mishmash of light, dark, so that it looks like it's a flash, and that white gel pen really makes the light kind of come out of it. Alright, now I've got this picture of my brother and I when we were little, and I'm just marking the edge here so I know where to cut it, and I found that the outer layer of the Sizzix circles fits just perfectly inside this camera lens. So I'm going to place that on there based on my pencil marks and run it through my Sizzix. And it's cut off on the side a little bit, but it's okay because it's going to be hidden. So I'm going to use my Tombow Mono Multi Glue, and I'm going to adhere the piece that has the stitching right to the front. And then I cut the top off of that one lens so that it wouldn't interfere with my score line. I'm going to put that on the back, and I'm going to line them up. And that's another good reason to use glue, is you can move it around just a little bit to make sure it lines up perfectly. And then I didn't want to put glue right onto my photos, so I just used tape runner to fill the hole in. Okay, now I'm going to adhere these pieces. Because I've got embossing powder on there and it's kind of bumpy, I'm going to use the glue for my flash. And it's just flat black for the lens, so I'm just going to use a tape runner on that, and you can see how it just pops right up. Alright, a lot of steps to this card. So I'm going to take my finishers, I'm going to pull a couple pieces out. I've got a hashtag, an arrow, and I'm going to use the heart, and I've got some scrap pieces of paper, and I'm just going to cut all those out with my Sizzix. Alright, so I want to take my hashtag out of the white and replace it with black. So I'm going to pop it out, and I'll pop out my black one, and I'm going to take the middle out of the black so I don't have the middle of the hashtag filled in, so it's empty. Now I'll take the white, I'll put it right back on there, line it up perfectly, and then I'll use my paper piercer to poke the white middle into the black, and it'll set right in there. Alright, so I'm going to do a hashtag happy birthday. So I've got these little letters from Hampton Arts, and I'm going to use my Stamp-A-Majig to make sure that I get them all lined up. Okay, I've got this Bahama Blue Memento Luxe ink, and I'm going to use a sponge dauber to ink up the whole heart and also the whole arrow. And because this is a pigment ink, I can emboss it. So I'm going to sprinkle it with some clear embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat it to set it, and that'll make these pieces really shiny. And I'll show you up close here so you can see how shiny they are, and it was so easy to do, and I only needed one layer. Okay, now I'm going to put these pieces on. Again, I'm going to use the Tombow glue right in the corner there, and then I'm going to do my white arrow, and then I'll just pop the blue one right in the center. Alright, now it's time to work on the piece that goes underneath. So I took my second circle in from my Sizzix set, and I'm going to use the inside circle of the lens. So I'm going to cut that out, and I'm again going to take the Bahama Blue, I'm going to ink up the edges using my sponge dauber so this all matches, and then I'll sprinkle it with the clear embossing powder and heat it to set it so it's nice and shiny. Now for my inside circle, I'm going to stamp some stars. I've got Little Bro. There's a lot of really cute words in that Penny Black Word Express. And the happy birthday from the birthday balloon set by Simon Says Stamp. So I'm going to stamp this up with VersaFine ink. And the stars, I'm going to do Simon Says Stamp Island Blue. I'm just going to randomly do them, and then this is Butter Bar by Hero Arts. And I'm just going to stick the smaller one in between, the smaller star. So I'm going to adhere that together, and then I'm going to put it underneath my picture. So again, I'm going to use the glue because of the embossing. I'll make sure it's hidden when it's closed. Alright, now you can see how you can pop it up. Okay, now I'm going to work on the card base. So I'm just going to score a line on the left, fold it up a little bit, and use a tape runner. And I'll just line it up. And I'll show you how you can open it so it hinges toward the back. Now I wanted to add a little bit of string, some twine, so I just took a ruler and I drew a line with my 2A glue pen, and then I just pressed my twine into it and it sticks really well. And then I'm going to do one down the side here. And I decided I didn't want to wrap it around, it was too much trouble, and this twine is pretty good quality, it's Doodlebug, and so it doesn't really unravel on the end, so I was fine with just cutting it off. And then I created a bow and I put it right there in the corner with a glue dot. Now finally, so that I can write a message on the inside, I just cut a piece of white cardstock and I adhered it on the inside. And that's it. I know there's a lot of little steps here, but it came out really cute. I really like this die set. It's adorable. I made another version with a dog on it on my blog, so if you're on YouTube, you can click the link in the description and you'll be able to see another version of this card that I made. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.